Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And now we will move on to session 1, Reorienting Asian Economic Framework through Resilience Building. First, we would like to invite the Honorable John Deng, Minister without Portfolio, Executive Yuan, R.O.C. Taiwan, to give us his remarks. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first session of this forum. This is the sixth time I participate in Yushan Forum. I'm very delighted to see stronger participation each year. And the Yushan Forum has become a very important platform for regional cooperation. I want to especially thank Taiwan Asia Exchange Foundation and Chairman Xiao and his staff for their constant efforts. This year, we are honored to have Ms. Rose Gottemoeller, former Deputy Secretary General of NATO, as our keynote speaker. Ms. Gottemoeller will share with us of her expertise on risk control, security enhancement, and promoting regional prosperity. Ms. Gottemoeller is currently a research fellow and distinguished lecturer at Stanford University. Before joining Stanford, Ms. Gottemoeller was the first female Deputy Secretary General of NATO from 2016 to 2019. Helping to drive forward NATO's adaptation to new security challenges in Europe and in the fight against terrorism. Ms. Gottemoeller served in the U.S. State Department as Assistant Secretary and Undersecretary for Arms Control and International Security from 2009 to 2015. In addition, with her long-standing public service and research expertise, Ms. Gottemoeller is also a non-resident fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Without any further ado, let us now welcome Ms. Gottemoeller.
Thank you so very much. It's a great honor to be here with you today. Thank you, Minister Deng and Taiwanese colleagues for the honor of participating in this Yushan Forum on Reorienting Asia Economics Framework through Resilience Building. I am sorry that I cannot be with you in person, but my responsibilities at Stanford University as the new autumn quarter begins and the students arrive again after the COVID pandemic, they have prevented me from traveling to Taiwan. But may I, at the outset, express my best wishes for the overall success of this important event. I have been asked to comment on the topic, I quote, restart and co-prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region after the pandemic, an opportunity for Taiwan and Indo-Pacific partners to cooperate, end quote. Before I move to my remarks, however, I would like to comment on the overall topic of resilience building. In so many settings, enhanced resilience is vital to our ability to survive. As you know, I am an expert on defense and security topics, including nuclear threats and efforts to control nuclear weapons. The best and perhaps only defense against nuclear weapons is to ensure that a country and its society are resilient against them, that if an aggressor chooses to perpetrate a nuclear attack, then that country and its society will not collapse in fear and destruction. This denies the aggressor his attack aims and is thus said to exercise a deterrence function, what we call deterrence by denial. By building up the resilience of any national capacity, whether it is economic, political, or military in nature, A country denies a possible aggressor his attack aims, a vital deterrence method. Therefore, I endorse the importance in all settings of building up resilience, and I congratulate you for making it a centerpiece of your discussions in this forum. Now, let me turn to the cooperation of Taiwan and Indo-Pacific partners after the pandemic. I, of course, support the close cooperation between Taiwan and its big partners on the North American continent, the United States and Canada. I am sure that this cooperation will continue to grow apace based on the mutual needs of our rapidly developing high-technology industries. However, I want to bring to the attention of this audience the renewed importance of other Indo-Pacific partners, especially among the Pacific Island states. According to a White House summit statement released just last week, the United States is greatly expanding its cooperation with these states in areas including climate change resilience, adaptation and disaster relief, secure and resilient technology and connectivity, protection of the ocean and environment, people-centered development, resources and economic development, and political leadership and developing the capability and capacity of leaders in that region of the world. It is very notable that, in line with my theme, which is to focus on the region after the COVID pandemic, the United States is emphasizing the fight against disease in the Pacific Island states through enhanced vaccine participation and health security measures. Their goal is to strengthen prevention, detection, and response capacities to minimize threats posed by emerging infectious diseases of all kinds. The importance of the Pacific Island states is enhanced by the larger geostrategic competition taking place in the Indo-Pacific region, where competition for control of infrastructure, especially ports and basing facilities, will go hand in hand with a thirst for resources. In the near term, especially fisheries resources, but in the longer term, access perhaps to seabed mining of critical minerals. Therefore, it is important that we all participate in developing close working partnerships with the Pacific Island states. I was gratified to learn that Taiwan, through its International Cooperation and Development Fund, has a variety of cooperation projects with its Pacific Island allies in the areas of health, agriculture, education, and climate security. According to Jacob Stokes, a fellow at the Center for New American Security in Washington, Taiwan should have a role to play in the U.S. partnership with the Pacific Islands nations, since Taiwan assists these countries in many related areas. According to Stokes, Taiwan has already been able to meet many needs that the islands are facing, for example, in health, infrastructure building, and development. I also know that other major Pacific countries, Australia and New Zealand, are continuing to work closely with the Pacific Island states in order to build up their Coast Guard capabilities and technical skill at surveillance of the vast expanses of territorial seas and economic zones that surround these islands. Such capabilities are especially important to preserve fisheries resources from plundering at this time. Working together, we will not only build up close partnerships that will have mutual economic benefits, but also enhance the resilience of these islands, their ability to survive in spite of rapid climate change and greater geopolitical competition in the Indo-Pacific region. They need us, but they also are partners whom we need to have. Minister Deng and colleagues, I thank you for your attention and really appreciate the opportunity to participate with you at this important Yushan Forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gottemoeller. I don't know whether you can see me taking note vigorously. I think I would like to thank our distinguished speaker, Ms. Gottemoeller, for her thoughtful and inspiring words in controlling risk enhance security, promoting regional prosperity in light of recent events, which I'm confident will provide a strong start to this forum's dialogue, and also to inspire us to work together to jointly safeguard peace and stability while promoting prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. Particularly, you mentioned about Pacific Island states. I think we hear you clearly, very well. Rising economic uncertainty, deepening geopolitical tensions, and growing health and environment challenges have become too big for any one country to handle on its own, which is why Yushan Forum becomes more important than ever. With your extensive experience as Undersecretary for Arms Control and International Security at the U.S. Department of State, and later as Deputy Secretary General of NATO, you are very well equipped to help us navigate the challenges of this unstable world. And we are honored to have your participation in this year's inaugural session of Yushan Forum. Thank you again, Ms. Gottemoeller. Wish you all the best. Next, I would like to introduce an old friend of Taiwan, Senator Dodd, who has brought us some special messages to Yushan Forum. Senator Dodd served as the U.S. Senator for 30 years, from 1981 to 2011. After serving for 6 years in the House of Representatives, that's begin from 1975. During his term as Connecticut's longest-serving member of Congress, Senator Dodd was recognized as one of the country's most widely respected legislators, earning the trust of both Republicans and Democrats. Senator Dodd was involved in generating initial support for the Taiwan Relations Act back to 1979. In April 2021, Senator Dodd was sent by President Biden to lead a delegation to Taiwan. His mission is to enhance U.S.-Taiwan ties. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Senator Dodd for his long-standing support and friendship to Taiwan, and we hope Senator Dodd will continue to help U.S.-Taiwan relations in the future with his network, experiences, and wisdom. Now, let us listen to Senator Dodd's remark to Yushan Forum.
I'm very pleased to be a part of the 2022 Yushan Forum. I want to thank my thanks to the Taiwan Asia Exchange Foundation for putting this event together and to promote dialogue and cooperation. Thank you for inviting me once again to share a few thoughts with you today, exploring the themes of revitalizing, reorienting, and reconnecting. I'm a longtime supporter of Taiwan, going back to my 36 years in the United States Congress. In fact, in 1979, when I was a very young member of Congress, I served as one of the floor managers for the passage of the Taiwan Relations Act. Last April, to mark the 42nd anniversary of that act, for which President Biden and I both voted, I was asked by the President to serve as a member of an unofficial delegation to Taiwan, along with former Deputy Secretaries of State Richard Armitage and James Steinberg. Today, the United States stands with friends and allies across the Indo-Pacific to advance our shared prosperity, security, and values, including deepening our ties with Taiwan. We were honored to meet with President Tai during our visit to Taipei and to reaffirm that Taiwan is a key partner to the United States in the Indo-Pacific. President Biden once again was expressing our commitment to engaging Taiwan, to deepening our relationship based on shared interests in line with the United States' One China policy as guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, 3 Joint Communiqués, and 6 assurances. As all of you know, the United States and Taiwan have a strong relationship, and we have long celebrated each other's democratic principles. Taiwan, in fact, is rated the 8th most democratic country in the world, ahead of Japan, Korea, and even the United States. Taiwan is an important partner on trade, science, technology, health, education, and advancing democratic values. Our deep economic ties continue to grow and mutually benefit both of our countries and the Indo-Pacific. Deepening our ties with Taiwan is an important part of U.S. policy in the region. We are committed to peace in the region, which is to the benefit not only of Taiwan and our allies in the region, but to the United States as well. Taiwan has been supportive of U.S. efforts to combat climate change. Taiwan has been eager to promote democracy and participate in international organizations. And we have many educational exchanges with Taiwan, further strengthening the ties between our two countries. I believe the United States will continue to promote security, economic cooperation, and human rights in the Indo-Pacific. And doing so will strengthen trade, investments, diplomacy, and partnerships, particularly with Taiwan. What a wonderful idea to gather today to talk about these important regional relationships and how we can all work together towards a safer, more prosperous future. I applaud all of you. Congratulations on your efforts today. And once again, I thank you for asking me to share some brief thoughts this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we would like to thank Minister without Portfolio John Dunn for moderating this session. Please return to your seat. A round of applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we will move on to the panel discussion. As the world is recovering from the impact of COVID-19, how to boost economic development and build resilience has become a critical issue. Our moderator for this session is His Excellency Tien, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, R.O.C. Taiwan. Please come up to the stage. And please welcome to the stage our panelists, Mr. Chung-Kwang, C.C. Chen, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Economic Affairs, R.O.C. Taiwan. Mr. Ajay Prakash, Sawhney, former Secretary of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, India. Also, Mr. Kristian Ablan, Undersecretary for Administration of the Department of Education, the Philippines. Dr. Junne-jih, Deputy Minister of Council of Agriculture, Executive Yuan, R.O.C. Taiwan. Mr. William Dollente, former Secretary of Agriculture of the Philippines. Dr. Wang Pi-Sheng, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Health and Welfare, R.O.C. Taiwan. Dr. Tong Chao-Li, Managing Director of Infokinetics, Clinical Research Center, Malaysia. Dr. Mon-Chi, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Education, R.O.C. Taiwan. And Mr. Tsung-Yen, Deputy Minister of Ministry of the Interior, R.O.C. Taiwan. Please be seated. A round of applause to our moderator and our panelists. Please take your seat. Thank you. And now I will give the floor to our moderator, Deputy Minister Tien.
Excellencies, friends online, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Panelists, good morning. I would like to begin by thanking Chairman Xinhuang Michael Shao of the Taiwan Asia Exchange Foundation for inviting me to serve as moderator. I would also like to express my appreciation to Taiwan's Minister without Portfolio, Dr. Zhang Deng, and former Deputy Secretary General of NATO and former U.S. Undersecretary of State, R.O.C. Gottemoeller, and a former U.S. Senator Kristian Dodd for their inspiring remarks, which have laid a very solid foundation for today's discussion. Over the past 2 years, COVID-19 has ravaged the globe, sparking unprecedented changes. As the pandemic subsides, countries around the globe are opening up. On October 13, Taiwan also too will reopen its borders. Together, we must forge a path forward to revitalize reoriented, and reconnect the region and the world. This year's Yushan Forum is an ideal platform to discuss present issues, such as economic recovery, reconstructing, and innovation, as well as relevant strategies for the future. By strengthening partnership with New South-bound policy countries, Taiwan hopes to help promote regional prosperity in the post-pandemic era. Since President Tien launched the New South-bound policy in 2016, together we have made significant advances. To date, Taiwan has signed more than 80 agreements and memorandum of understanding with New South-bound policy partner countries. These have covered a wide range of domains, including trade, investment, education, agriculture, science, technology, and people-to-people exchanges. Last year, a bilateral trade between Taiwan and these partner countries reached a record high of $149 billion, a 37% increase over 2020. And this year, for January to July, 43.9% of Taiwan's total investment abroad went to 18 partner countries, exceeding $2.2 billion. The New South-bound policy has been a resounding success, bolstering economic ties and social connectivities between Taiwan and the region. And moving forward, Taiwan hopes to continue this momentum with the partners and jointly explore the opportunities for the cooperation and growth. For today's panel, it is an honor to welcome senior government officials from Taiwan and abroad. They will share with us their knowledge and experiences on a key aspect of New South-bound policies. Their expertise includes economics, information technology, agricultural health, welfare, and education. These critical domains requires our utmost attention as we rebuild from the pandemic and cultivate more resilient societies. I look forward to the novel prosperities and engaging discussion that are sure to follow. For the session 1, 9 panelists will give brief presentations on their areas of expertise, following by the Q&A segment. The panelists are Undersecretary for Administration Kristian Ablan of the Department of Education of the Philippines, Deputy Minister Chern-Chyi of Taiwan Ministry of Economic Affairs, Mr. Ajay Prakash, Sawhney, former Secretary of the Ministry of Economics, Electronics and Information Technology of India. Namaste. Deputy Minister Chen-Chyi of the Taiwan Council of Agriculture, Mr. William Dollente, former Secretary of Agriculture of the Philippines, Deputy Minister Wang of Taiwan's Ministry of Health and Welfare, and Dr. Chung-kwang, Managing Director, Infokinetics Clinical Research Center, Malaysia, and Deputy Minister of Mon-Chi of Taiwan's Ministry of Education. Last but not least, Deputy Minister Chung-Yen of Taiwan's Ministry of Interior. Now, please join me in welcoming the first panelist, Undersecretary Ablan, please.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister Tien. Thank you so much for inviting me to the Yushan Forum. It is unfortunate that I am unable to join you in person in Taiwan, but greetings from Manila, the Philippines. I am an Undersecretary of the Department of Education right now, but my presentation for this forum is from my previous post as Director for our Freedom of Information program. I would like to show some slides to share with our participants in the forum this morning. I hope our organizers can allow me to share the slides. Where we're coming from is our cooperation and partnership with Taiwan in terms of access to information. And we're very grateful and thankful for the partnership and cooperation with your country, and we hope by moving forward we strengthen this partnership. Let me first introduce my previous agency, FOI Philippines. We are in charge of making sure that government information is disclosed to the public. We are an office of around 40 persons, and we will just show you some of our primary responsibilities on the screen right now, and also our programs and our projects. The theme of our forum, we would like to focus on reconnecting, and that is why we reached out to Taiwan in order for us to reconnect with you and to learn from your best practices. We had an activity. These are our study visits. Aside from Taiwan, we've also reached out to our friends in Mexico, Indonesia, and in Australia. Now let me get straight to the point. Last July 2021, we reached out to the Taiwan government to help us organize a virtual symposium. And we're very, very happy that through the embassy, we organized the Taiwan Open Government Initiatives Virtual Symposium. As you can see on the screen, we invited and we were graced by the presence of Minister Audrey Tang, your Minister for Digital. And we wanted to learn more about the digital transformation that your country used in response to the pandemic, and maybe replicate them here in the Philippines, which we did. Taiwan is a leading country in promoting open government and civic participation. In fact, in the latest Global Open Data Index, Taiwan ranks number 1. Over the years, with the advancement of cloud computing and mobile services, as well as collaboration between the public and private sectors, your country has continuously made progress in building a more open and accessible government that can promote citizens' trust and inclusive growth. I am quoting Ambassador Shu, your ambassador here to the Philippines. And then we also have our FOI Summit and Awards. And again, we were graced by Digital Minister Audrey Tang, where he discussed with us digital social innovation and a glimpse on how Taiwan managed the pandemic through collective intelligence. One particular example is how you were able to help your citizens locate convenience stores where they had face masks at the time when the pandemic was really spreading throughout your country and our region. Minister Tang shared the open data, open government, and citizen government collaboration that are keys to combat any pandemic or disaster. So those are our partnerships with Taiwan, and we would like to continue with them. And here is how we will do it, and hopefully through this Yushan Forum, we can get strengthened ties with your country. Let me introduce you to the AAIA. Next slide, please. Because of the best practices and active partnership, we wanted to tap Taiwan as one of the founding members of the Asian Access to Information Alliance, or AAIA. Next slide, please. The AAIA is a partnership of Asian member states dedicated to promote freedom of information or access to information in our region through the general areas of cooperation, such as the development of stronger FOI legislative frameworks and policies, the implementation of FOI peer learning and capacity building mechanisms, and the consolidation of the FOI representation from the Asian region. The AAIA believes that context plays a primary role in idea generation, problem solving, and decision making. We got inspiration to create this organization from similar cooperation networks from Iberico-America or Latin America and Africa, specifically the RTA and the ANIC. Next slide, please. The rationale for the organization is a shared understanding and mutual cooperation on access to information and follow through with our conversations, as well as peer learning and knowledge sharing. Our activities include early this year the initial online convention held in January 2022, wherein Taiwan was represented by its consular office in the Philippines. Thank you so much to Ambassador Xu. And last week, we had the ceremonial joint declaration signing and official establishment of the AAIA. And we were joined by the the Ministry of Information of Cambodia, the Freedom of Information Unit of Israel, the Information Commissioner's Office of Maldives, of course, FOI Philippines, the Right to Information Commission in Sri Lanka, and of course, representing R.O.C. Taiwan, the National Development Council, and the signatory is Deputy Minister Shi Ke-her. Next slide, please. The founding members will decide on the following: our charter. Next slide, please. Our charter, our membership process, the timeline setting of programs and activities, and the determination of partnership and strategic priorities. We would like to thank Taiwan for being one of our founding members, and we look forward to the work of AAIA and the expertise of Taiwan can share with our network. Thank you very much, Xie Sheniman.
And thank you, Undersecretary Ablan. Thank you very much. Thank you for your inspiring speech on freedom of information and for sharing your experiences with Asian access to information alliances. I understand you have another engagement and must depart. We are pleased to have had you to join us today and wish you all the best. Thank you again. Now, may I invite Deputy Minister Chern-Chyi to give us his presentation. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Minister Tien, Chairman Xiao, Minister Deng, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's not working.
Okay, it's coming up.
Let me start by saying this morning we have heard from President Tsai. She ran through a series of numbers to demonstrate our trade and economic relations with New Southbound areas. Actually, in 2010, our outbound investment to mainland China occupied 80% of our all investment. So that was economically insecure and not resilient. So President Tsai, when she took office in 2016, she started the New Southbound policy. The New Southbound policy has a very high vision of a people-centered and building up a community, make Taiwan part of the communities. But with respect to trade and investment, the economic security and resilience certainly is the centerpiece of this policy. So let me show you this slide. During the 2016 to 2021, the FDI to New Southbound countries area like ASEAN, they grew a bit. To India, actually shrink a bit, but it enlarged and shrink. And to China, you see the chart on the right-hand side actually increased. So it's because China had a relatively good control of the pandemic during 2020 to 2021. So its foreign direct investment increased. But now, look at the Taiwanese investment. Actually, Taiwanese investors are aware of the investment environment in China is actually deteriorating. So they try to shift out their production capacity out of China and then making the investment back in Taiwan or in New Southbound countries area. So it tipped up in 2021. So now let me share some footprint with you. Taiwanese investment in New Southbound countries, some are because of the brand leaders wish to move and to hedge the risk. Some are because the Taiwanese investor, they already have the capacity production facilities in New Southbound areas. So they shift their production capacity to that area. Ostensibly, it's Vietnam. The north part of the Vietnam is new investment where electronic clusters are getting together, and India are the most prominent investment destinations. But south part of Vietnam is a contrast. Those are the more old generation of investment. So focus on textile, plastic, and more conventional manufacturing. So we led the delegation to visit the areas, then we have a deeper look of the Taiwanese footprints in the area. So this chart, this slide I'd like to share with you. Taiwan's industry has 4 features, which is very unique to Taiwan. The first one, Taiwan is mostly in the OEM, so it relies very heavily on customers' trust. And then Taiwanese companies are most small to medium enterprise, so are very adapted to market demand. And we have a super intellectual property protection regime and very close clusters. So in the New Southbound areas, Taiwanese companies tend not to be the vertical leader of the brand leader, but horizontal collaborators of the supply chain. So we try to cultivate the talents in the area and to grow the industry locally. So the government has some measures to help cultivate talents in the area because our company needs talents. So we offer training and education for the young people from the area to come to Taiwan to receive education. And we do have industrial policy dialogue with the area governments. And then we have a people-to-people exchange where President Tsai and my previous speakers also mentioned. And then we want to strengthen our economic and trade collaboration. So we have a vision. Through this type of horizontal collaboration, we will build a resilient supply chain with New Southbound countries. And then, because we advocate ESG for our company, so the investment in New Southbound area will be sustainable development. And then the local industry will be upgraded through collaboration with Taiwanese investment. And last but not least, of course, we wish to institutionalize our cooperation relations, which means we like to have a trade agreement and investment agreement with the government in the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, for such a very detailed and precise presentation. Now I would like to invite Sri Ajay Prakash Sawhney from India. Welcome. He was the former Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman Xiao, Deputy Minister Tien, other. Okay, I think it's okay now. Deputy Minister Tien, other dignitaries, it's my great pleasure to be a part of this Yushan Forum, and I bring greetings from the people of India to the people of Republic of China, Taiwan, and all other participants here. First of all, I would like to compliment Taiwan for having chosen a path of partnership as it looks to build strength in the future. And the new southbound policy with 18 NSP target countries is really paving the way for some excellent new initiatives and building of new strengths. As we look at the issue of building resilience, I think it's important to look at it in two sets of issues. The first being leveraging the existing strengths, preserving the strengths that we already have, and then also investing and building new strengths for the future. From India, we have been a wonderful, we have seen this play out very well. Some of the finest companies in EMS, in manufacturing, that Taiwan has built over several decades, have now made India their home. We have had tremendous pleasure in welcoming these companies which manufacture the finest and most sophisticated products in electronics, not for India but for the globe, based in India. We have also been very pleased to see recent announcements come in with Foxconn joining up hands with a major entity in India and bringing in semiconductor fab investment as well as a display fab investment. These are steps in the right direction. India has the size and scale to help the EMS companies grow at least tenfold from where they are today. And the requirement of semiconductors also is huge and will be far higher in the future. As we look at resilience, I think it's important to also take supply chains closer to the places of manufacturing, especially where manufacturing is likely to grow significantly over the next few years. In India, we expect that electronic manufacturing will grow at a compounded annual growth rate of above 25% for several years to come. This is the place where we must build resilience by bringing supply chain closer to the manufacturing locations, closer to the markets. Talent is also another extremely important area that needs to be ramped up for building resilience. India has immense supply of talent, and we look forward to very strong partnership with Taiwan to tap talent within India and to bring some of the talent in India to Taiwan to help out with many of the new areas that Taiwan is engaged in. Another aspect which is extremely important is building strength for the future. I would like to mention that India has some of the best startups in the world today, and it is raining unicorns. In 2021, as many as 42 new unicorns emerged in India. India now has more than 100 unicorns and a large number of which are soon to be unicorns. It is important at this stage, when new technologies are being explored very rapidly, when new companies are taking shape, that Taiwan also considers making a deep and strong investment in technologies of the future, in companies of the future, in technologies that can be tried and tested in India, but can be deployed across the globe. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be a part of the Yushan Forum.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you for your presentation. I also would like to take up this opportunity to congratulate India. You just become the 5th largest economy in the world. We look forward to have more working opportunity with India. And you mentioned that electronics and software. I understand that India is the champion in software, and Taiwan is a champion in hardware. So we would like to have kind of an arranged marriage, put these two sides together, arranged marriage lasts much longer than love marriage, I can assure you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go for something very important. I think agriculture also plays very, very important for our future. Let me invite the Deputy Minister, Chen-Chyi, Deputy Minister of Council of Agriculture. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Minister Chen and Chairman Shao, and our distinguished guests in the room or join us on the line. And I'm honored to be able to be here and have this kind of opportunity on behalf of Council of Agriculture to show you about Taiwan's recent efforts in the cooperation with like-minded partners in safeguarding food security in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Australasia. Okay. Regarding the food security, just mentioned in the slide, about 92% of the households in Taiwan are food secure. However, based on the calorie counted, our food self-sufficiency rate in Taiwan is only about 32 to 35 fluctuation, depend on different years. So this kind of the data indicated that Taiwan food supply chains rely heavily on the trade. So to enhance the country's food security, Taiwan strives to get the trade-off between food security, food safety, sustainability, and make better use of food already produced, in addition to invest abroad to secure long-term food security. I believe that you're fully aware that global security is currently facing several challenges, such as climate change. A lot of the guest remarks in the early of this morning already mentioned that climate change will reduce food productivities and productions due to the extreme weather event. And the other major challenge is the COVID-19 pandemics. That disruption on the food supply chains have ruined the regional economy and making key staples more expensive for consumers. And from last year, we have facing also a regional conflict. It's curtailing the production and crucial trade in food. So under this kind of challenge, and level of the food security and the malnutrition appear to be on the rise in some South and Southeast Asia countries. So let us have a close look at the food security situation in the South and Southeast Asia. It has been reported that about 20% of the population were exposed to severe food insecurity in South Asia, whereas in about 19% of the population in Southeast Asia face moderate to severe food insecurity. Under this kind of situation, South and Southeast Asia countries clearly need to work together and develop a coordinated strategy to enhance food security. Our new southbound policy, just based on this kind of idea, and the major purpose of Taiwan's new southbound policy in agriculture is to enhance cooperation and exchange between Taiwan and 18 countries in the Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Australasia. Agriculture is one of very important 5 flagships in about the national new southbound policy. Through increased cooperation and innovations, NSP in agriculture has made Taiwan and partner countries work closely to ensure a sustainable, resilient, and transparent food supply chain. And currently, in showing the NSP in agriculture scales 3 models of cooperation with our partners: an extension of food production basis, relay production food, and off-season production. So I will quickly to give you a briefing about the extension, the production area. And we are provided 3 major successful cases that has already get a very successful result and implemented in the Indonesia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Among the countries in the Asia regions, Indonesia is one of the most active countries to implement bilateral cooperation projects. And the major actions include set up the 400-hectare integrated farm for rice productions, horticulture, and duck raising with improved irrigation infrastructure and organized farmers cooperative in Karawang, and scaling the innovations such as improved rice varieties, integrated crop management systems, and cropping systems to increase the rice productivities. We also set up a specialized vegetable production zone in Surabaya and Medan, 100 hectares in total, to supply vegetable for local consumption as well as exporting. And the most important thing is how to train the farmers to get upgrade skill. So the training for trainers for farmers is very important thing. We also provide an internship of young agricultural graduates in Taiwan. The second case is we established the Mushroom Demo Fund in the Philippines. And this project is to transfer knowledge about the cultivation mushroom to the Philippines and beyond, and while creating job opportunities for the local residents and provide contributions for the private sectors to export related equipment and materials. I'm very happy to announce that this kind of the demonstration fund has been duplicated to other areas of the Philippines. And the third case of extension of food productions basis is the established rice seed and fruit seeding trace. The center is support to the technology and development in paddy rice and fruit tree seeding centers, and create the opportunity for the private sectors to export related equipment and materials. And the second model of the transfer cooperation is relay production. Just for example, tuna caught in by Taiwan fishermen were exported to the Thailand for processing into the fish can for domestic and foreign market. On the other hand, food ingredient were imported to Taiwan for processing and value editing for animal feed and pear milk tea, for example. And the third model of the cooperation is off-season production and marketing. And to extend the short lychee production seasons, just because in Taiwan, the major production season from May to August, but in Australia is from the December to the February. So the idea is to take advantage of the complementary climate into the two countries. And this kind of partnership allows year-round production and marketing in this kind of delicious fruits. And in conclusion, that to ensure the food security, Taiwan adopt different pace that include ensure the stock of the staple food, increase food self-sufficiency through the enhanced food productivity and productions, and ensure the smooth flow of trade channels to make full use of the international market, to stabilize food supply chains, and reduce the food losses and waste along the supply chains from production to the consumptions, or from the farm to the table. And the last but not the least, maintain our purchasing power, including the heavy cash reserved to buy the food. Taiwan has already signed a MOU in agricultural field, and with Australia, India, Indonesia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. And consultation workshops have been organized to identify potential areas of cooperations and co-design relevant projects to impact effectively of bilateral needs. We're looking forward to extending our cooperation with more NSP partner countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister Chen. We understand the food security is so important, so he takes about double the time to explain the food security. And food security no longer is an individual country's problem, it's going to be a global problem. So I would like to invite our closest neighbor, the Philippines. I would like to invite the former Secretary of Department of Agriculture of the Philippines, William D. Dodd, to share his idea, please. We don't have the Philippines? It's coming up. It's coming up. All right.
Can I request the Secretariat to project now my slides? Part 1. Mr. Chen Chung-kwang, Deputy Minister, Foreign Affairs of Taiwan, distinguished speakers, panelists, and participants to this year's Yushan Forum, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The next slide will be about the ASEAN. The coming together of the ASEAN bloc in the 1960s was already a boon to food security. The ASEAN region is one of the most productive agricultural baskets and boasts a GDP that is the 5th largest in the world. There is wide room for leveraging on its advantages, especially as the region has priorly cast its lot in free trade agreements and economic integration. The reduction of trade barriers and free flow of investments would lubricate the development of needs-based agriculture and establish infrastructure crucial to efficient food systems. There is a great environment for ASEAN members to harness their comparative advantages in agriculture. The Philippines, for instance, hosts suitable agroeconomic conditions for the production of diverse crops. Likewise, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia can boost their production of industrial crops. But equally imposing are the challenges. Market demand is shifting alongside an aging and feminizing demographic, while climate change remains a perennial concern. with increased monsoon rains, prolonged and more frequent periods of drought and destruction of ecosystems to accommodate agribusiness setups. Next slide. The region has to rally behind the 6 areas of cooperation. Sustainability in production and resource management must be enhanced. Trade must further flourish and be sustained. Food security standards in food safety, nutrition, and distribution must be upheld. Climate resiliency programs must roll on and be prioritized. Meanwhile, small and medium-sized enterprises, which are usually responsible for 90% of revenue generation, must benefit from assistance in standards compliance in international markets. Finally, inclusive technologies must be embraced through a regional approach. Now, the next slide. These are some staple commodities where the ASEAN framework can work together. In rice, the region has a stunning self-sufficiency ratio of 118% in 2022. It can be noted that Taiwan has achieved rice self-sufficiency levels of 110%, despite only 22% of their land area being devoted to agriculture. There is legwork ahead of us to raise self-sufficiency ratios in crucial crops such as sugar, corn, and soybean. And this is where technological interventions must be crucially adopted. Now, the next slide about current situation on Philippine economic outlook, we lay out the Philippine economic situation where growth prospects remain positive amid difficult times, amid trade deficits, peso depreciation, and rising inflation. There is a surge in market and business activity due to the foreign exchange generated by overseas Filipino workers and significant investments in large public infrastructure. And one of the areas benefiting from the building spree is agriculture and fisheries. In the next slide, the performance of Philippine agriculture has really registered flat growth in the second quarter of 2022. The 2% uptick was urged by the poultry and egg sectors. The livestock sector has been enjoying a rebound despite the wreckage from African swine fever. The crop subsector has faltered due to the high prices of fertilizers and fuel, which were geopolitical realities. The fisheries subsector has yet to be shored up by the aquaculture sector, which in the Philippines should be expanded significantly through advanced technology. Now, in the next slide, challenges. These are all about challenges in Philippine agriculture. And agriculture in our country is marred with these big challenges, the most major of which is decades-long underdevelopment and underinvestment. It has been exposed to global externalities like the 3 Cs, the COVID crisis, the climate crisis, and the conflicts in geopolitics. Thus, we are currently in the grips of food inflation and stunted supply of some commodities. Malnutrition threatens to be an intergenerational problem with a high prevalence of stunting among school-aged children. Next slide. is on strategies to unlock Philippine agriculture potential. You know, agriculture must be viewed as a key driver of growth and should fetch proportional investments to fund large-scale mechanization, improve rural infrastructure, support R4D activities, and multiply public goods. Structural inefficiencies and diseconomies must be addressed through farm clustering and consolidation to improve profitability. In the Philippines, land has been parceled out through agrarian reform, making the farms too small for economies of scale. On the next slide, which is key pillars of 1DA reform agenda. And when I was Agriculture Secretary, the Department of Agriculture adopted a framework for boosting Philippine agriculture. This framework is centered on 4 pillars: clustering, modernization, industrialization, and professionalization, with each pillar containing a number of strategies. The next slide is all about Taiwan. And there is much to learn from the Taiwan experience. Taiwan is a key partner of the Philippines in grooming the next generation of farm managers and agripreneurs through its internship program. We have good relations with Ambassador Peyung Su in the country. Taiwan is also expectedly a leader in smart agriculture, which is responsible for the efficiency of farm labors and rapidly increasing farm productivity. Taiwan is a stellar model for rice self-sufficiency, exceeding the needs of its population by 10%. Now, the next slide will be all about dairy farming and education. Dairy farming has been identified as a growth area in the Philippines, while Taiwan's modernization of its dairy industry has yielded abundant high-quality milk. In Taiwan, robotics and automatic milking have been normalized, while these technologies remain largely a fantasy in the Philippines. Complementing the pace of technology is the pace of learning, where I hope many Filipino youth can benefit. Advanced artificial intelligence and necessary frontier in digital agriculture is now made a subject matter in schools and universities. Taiwan attracts a lot of Filipino talent. Now, in closing, that's the last slide, I want to acknowledge Taiwan for the meaningful partnerships it has formed with the Philippines in the realms of technology and education in agriculture. It has become an agricultural powerhouse and source of noble farming practices, and the Philippines is lucky that some of our Filipino talent will be exposed to its agricultural technologies. On behalf of the Filipino people, thank you very much, and may more partnerships be inspired by this Yushan Forum. Thank you and good day.
And thank you, Secretary Dodd. Thank you. Your very touching presentation, and your 6 ASEAN cooperation's recommendation is appreciated. We would also like to congratulate the Philippines. You have a very strong economic outlook for 2022. Congratulations. For the past couple of years, 3 years, we've been disturbed by COVID-19. All the lives inside out, outside in, and upside down, inside out. It's very, very disturbing and devastating. And I think there's a very important department handled this COVID-19 for the past 3 years. Now I would like to invite Deputy Minister Wang Pi-Sheng of the Ministry of Health and Welfare to present. Thank you.
Deputy Minister Tien, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Ministry of Health and Welfare, I would like to present to you the progress and the future prospects of Taiwan's healthcare new southbound policy. Let me first talk about the framework and the strategy. In 2018, we implemented the healthcare new southbound policy flagship project. The goals are to establish a regional hub for medical services and research, promote the biotech and the healthcare industry, enhance healthcare quality by cooperating with Asian countries, and strengthen epidemic prevention and control through regional collaboration. Our ministry launched the One Country, One Center program in 2018. The program incorporates Taiwan's medical center to act as liaison between Taiwan and the partner countries to facilitate cooperation and the exchange of information, also share Taiwan's experience and the resources in healthcare. Next, I will show you the current progress of the healthcare new southbound policy. From 2017 to 2021, we trained 1,185 healthcare professionals from our NSP partner countries, mostly from Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines. In the training program, 55% were physicians with specialty in fields such as cardiovascular treatment, organ transplantation, and minimally invasive surgery. From 2018 to July 2021, we had over 1 million international patients, contributing around 50 billion NT dollars. By August this year, the 1C1C program designated medical center signed a total of 169 MOU and connected 2022 companies to NSP partner countries. Since the implementation of the new southbound policy, Taiwan's export to these 7 NSP partner countries keep growing, leading to over 10 billion NT dollars increase in product value. It shows that the level of acceptance to Taiwan's medical devices and the medicines is improving. We hope that this trend continues in the future. Here are some highlights of the 1C1C program. The Chung-kwang Memorial Hospital performed surgery for a Burmese teenager with hand deformity in Myanmar. And the Changhua Christian Hospital cooperated with Zhonghua Telecom, helping a hospital in Thailand to build a smart ward and the e-nursing stations to improve their service efficiency and the quality. The Veteran General Hospital performed a critical liver transplant surgery on a 9-month-old baby from Vietnam in 2020. And the Tsung-Yen has established a Great Love Eye Center in the Philippines since 2008 and opened a new hospital in Jakarta, Indonesia in June 2021 with 520 beds, which is the first general hospital in Indonesia to perform bone marrow and stem cell transplantation. These examples are all performed by Taiwan's medical centers under the 1C1C project. This fully reflects the promotion of healthcare new southbound policy, which has strengthened our partner countries' awareness and the confidence in Taiwan's medical services. Starting from 2022, we hope to increase the breadth and the depth of the healthcare new southbound policy. The Healthcare New Southbound Policy 2.0, starting in 2022, will be comprised of 6 core components. First, the 1C1C Project 2.0 aims to expand to multi-centers in each country. Moreover, for different countries, medical centers will operate different strategies to fit the needs of each partner country. In terms of international cooperation, we would like to enhance our partnerships with like-minded countries such as United States and Japan in NSP countries and collaborate on global epidemic prevention and control, as well as expand the Muslim healthcare market. Third, we hope to enhance regulatory harmonization, reduce bilateral trade barriers, and sustain the supply chain stability, healthcare between Taiwan and the partner countries. Under Policy 2.0, we will continue to enhance the website and database. Besides, we also continue providing health training program to more health professionals. Finally, we would like to make continuous effort to accommodate more international patients to enjoy Taiwan's high quality and affordable healthcare service. And we look forward to establish overseas medical institutions to reach a wider range of people in the ASEAN and the South Asian partners. In order to establish the overseas space for the export of medical services and the products, we integrated the healthcare systems, medical associations, and the biotech industries to establish a national team called Medical Excellence Taiwan. Furthermore, Taiwan is also committed to spread e-health and telemedicine. We hope to share our experiences with partner countries in the Southeast Asia region, including our service model, e-medical devices, and the information platform. Finally, I would like to introduce the future prospects and the directions of cooperation between Taiwan and the NSP partner countries in the next stage. The Healthcare New Southbound Policy 2.0 is mainly based on the 1C1C platform as a pioneering platform and continues to set up a healthcare national team of Taiwan's medical industry and the manufacturers. Through linkage to markets, to the region, to the world, and to the future, we aim to share Taiwan's high-quality medical devices, medicines, and health services with our partner country to promote the globalization of Taiwan's healthcare industry and to build a global brand image of Taiwan's healthcare system. We will continue to work with all our partner countries in the coming years to improve the health and the well-being of our people. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Healthcare is one of the very strong points Taiwan to reach out to the other country. I was told some of the countries, when the people, they have some problems, they always waited till our doctor go to their countries. I think that's a very good indicator that our skills are very much accepted and appreciated. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Dong Cho Lee, the Managing Director, Infokinetic Clinic Research Center, Malaysia. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Minister Tien, Your Excellence and very honorable speakers, as well as attendees, and as well as the leaders from the government and private sectors. I think for me, it will be, I would say I will not, I wear multiple hats, but for me to be able to do this, I think I would wear the previous Health Minister Special Function Officer posting to East Asia. And this is the third time I'm presenting in this Yushan, and I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me. So today, the topic is a topic close to my heart. It's in public health and in recovery. So basically, the topics is basically public health together. I will particularly take Malaysia as an example. So I split into two sectors. One sector is emerging infectious disease, and another one is the seasonal, when it occur yearly, annually, or every 2 yearly. Okay. So I think we experienced the first SARS in 2002 when I came back from Australia after 10 years working there. And then subsequently, in between, we always, Malaysia always see MERS. Usually it's from the pilgrimage to Mecca or go to Arab country. It's not so bad, but I think the worst one is recent SARS-CoV-2, where reported around close to 7 million reported deaths, and unreported or estimated is close to 18 million. So this is a huge disaster, and let's see how does Malaysia handle it. So I only have 2 slides. It's not so much amount of the money we spend, but it's more on the sectors. If you can look at the things, the most percentage is used by us is to have capex, meaning more on the equipments and all this, and followed by treatment, and then the next one will be the admin from the government and health system, and of course the next one is important is a quarantine center. But I think the one that we use a lot more is for testing and contact tracing and the software that we use. So the next one is still the same, but however, what we do is we go to provider. So you can see the major provider actually is not to the hospital, but it's to the public health administration and the public health program in educating and contact tracing and all this. And the next will be the hospital, and the rest are fairly insignificant. So what do we learn together? Sorry, I need to move a bit closer because this screen is a bit fake. Basically, I think the important portion that we learn in the initial with Taiwan is the Ministry of Health and Welfare share a fair bit of information for us to be able to do some things. But after a while, I think due to more and more, I think this communication route is somehow, I would say, lost in the wave. So I think info sharing is very important, especially I think the most important in the initial state we thought is not airborne. So mask is not necessarily important. So all these things I think is important to have as soon as possible. And the next one is, even though in a country, a big country, if you have a policy, but not necessarily all the state or the provincial will follow your measures. So I think this is something that when we, as a public health authority, we need to make sure the measure and all this are well taken care and is well taught and everyone buy in. And of course, the next one is we only look at medical side, and we do not look into 2-3 years where in fact affected a lot of economic, and worse is social. Of course, the rate of commercial side is high. Then I think the last one, because time is quite short, I think the important portion is misinformation. A lot of people with the current social media, they'll give a lot of anti-vaxxer and all this, and we need to manage it. And within our group, I mean, in Malaysia, we use a lot of WhatsApp. I need to debunk them, telling them please don't spread all this unfounded claim and all this. And the next one is important, which we already have collaboration with Taiwan, is some other seasonal infection that can be treated by vaccine. These are previously most of the disease are very sectorial or very regional, but however due to close flight and all this, you have the disease here today, but in 2 days' time, probably in another region, especially you can see in Singapore. So for us, just want to share with you, in Malaysia, we signed an MOU with the Ministry of Health, more in regulatory, on the following things. Okay, I saw you, the time's up, it's okay. To give me 3 more minutes, okay? So these are the cooperation of new vaccine that Taiwan is embarking with their own partner. And this all vaccine that you can see there is relevant to Malaysia or ASEAN, which is a tropical diseases. So what are we looking at? If you look at ASEAN, the current vaccine industry, most of our local pharma are mainly either import and distributor, and most is basically fill and finish facility where we just buy the bulk and we package it in, especially when we look at the COVID vaccine and so on. And some small scale, some other country, they do have a small scale work with NGO or government sponsor, but we do not have a strong biotech or vaccine industry as robust and as advanced as Taiwan. So basically, this is something that we think we can collaborate a lot, and it's ongoing for the last 5 years. And due to the ASEAN high population, I think this will eventually go up in a double digit, definitely. And this is the last slide. So basically, for this, just want to echo again that COVID-19 actually, we know that a lot of shortfall, even though we have enough ratio, a lot of key indexes that we have, how many doctors, how many beds, how many ICU per beds, and all this is actually, when it comes to the acute attack, it's not enough. So within our region, we cannot just depend on UN. I think our region should have our own ecosystem that we will be able to share our data and our and data. I think I'm very sure, and Korea and Taiwan are very strong in data, and we hope Taiwan can lead in this region for that. And then if you look at the collaboration that we would like to have is enough time for us to have equitable addition of PPE. I remember in the April of 2020, Taiwan actually stopped the PPE export as a national thing, and we actually need to reuse. And as a frontliner, we know it's very painful. Won't be able to have a PPE to protect ourselves. And that's where I first, even though in the front line, that's where I contracted the COVID. And I understand that, and I do hope in future, if we are a stronger partner, we hope that Taiwan on all these commodity would give us a first preference. And finally, I do hope, as I mentioned, the vaccine in Taiwan, the industry is far ahead, and I do hope the government and the legislator give grant or give a push for them to cooperate with us. With that, thank you very much for your attention. Sorry, because I thought I was given 8 minutes, but I think the time cut short, right? My apology for over. Back to you, Minister Tien.
Thank you very much, Managing Director Lee. I think your presentation is a bit of alarming, but also very promising. I can assure you people in this room will take that alarming and promises very seriously when we're facing the future development. Thank you very much. Now, education definitely is a very, very important foundation for human development. I would like to invite the Deputy Minister of Ministry of Education, Dr. Liu Mon-Chi. Please go ahead.
Deputy Minister Tien, Dr. Xiao, Minister Deng, distinguished participants, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I know it's already lunchtime. I will try to do it quick. Anyway, today I will talk about this forum's topic in terms of international talent collaboration And this is the outline of my presentation. And on this slide, we can clearly see the impact of COVID on the number of international students studying in Taiwan. And the total number of international students was 128,000 in 2019, the pre-COVID year. And it dropped to about 93,000 in 2022. But however, when you look at the number of degree students, the story was quite different. The number of international degree students was about 63,500 in 2019, the pre-COVID year, and it increased. The number of international degree students increased to almost 5,400 students in 2022. I think this is an easy accomplishment, and because this number increased despite the interruption of COVID, and this is because our universities devoted many resources and put much effort to help our international degree students to cope with the very rigorous border control protocol. And on this slide, we can see that the number of international students from UNOSPAN partner countries has increased more than 60% from 2017 to 2022. And despite the interruption of COVID, the number increased from 36,000 in 2019 to more than 41,000 in 2022. And now students from New Southbound partner countries accounts for about 2/3 of international students studying in Taiwan. And we are very happy to see this development. And on this slide, we can see that our ministry provide a wide variety of scholarship to encourage students to study in Taiwan. And also, we encourage our students to study abroad, including NSP countries. And in the past 2 years, most Taiwan's higher education fairs abroad were suspended or held online. But however, on August 19 this year, we were able to hold the first in-person Taiwan higher education fair in Malaysia since the outbreak of COVID. And there were representatives of 81 Taiwan's universities and over 10,000 people participating in this event. A lot of Malaysian students show very, very strong interest in studying in Taiwan, and we are expecting to welcome them soon in Taiwan. And on this slide, I will talk about a new measure of recruiting international students. The MOE is working to attract more international students in the post-COVID era. And we are setting up a new international foundation program, IFP, intake and study model for students who don't have Mandarin Chinese proficiency yet. And IFP students will spend their first year studying Mandarin Chinese in Taiwan's universities, and their language course fees will largely be subsidized by the MOE. An important feature of IFP is that IFP students can apply for a working permit during the preliminary year while they are studying Mandarin Chinese and preparing for future study. Currently, our university are beginning to receive their first IFP students, and we are expecting this new track for students intake will help us to recruit more excellent students from New Southbound partner countries to pursue a degree in Taiwan. And on this slide, we can see the progression of the New Southbound Industry Academia Collaboration Program beginning in 2017. This is an umbrella program that offers a wide range of customized courses and programs. They involve a lot of practical training to develop students' hands-on skills, and these programs are very popular with students. And we can see on this slide that now we have nearly 13,000 students enrolled in 371 such programs. And we are pleased to see that 63% of graduates of these programs stay in Taiwan to work, and 14% of them stay in Taiwan to do further study. And we also have several popular programs, and here is one of these programs, Elite Talent Program, and we also have, this program is for master degree and PhD degree students, and we also have holiday school program, which can allow students to stay in Taiwan's university during the winter and the summer break periods, so they can familiarize themselves with Taiwan and the host university environment and the facilities. So, looking forward, we are expecting to strengthen and expand educational cooperation and connection with our partner countries, and we will focus on meeting a wide range of education and the training needs in our region, assisting college and university in Taiwan interact more with institutions overseas, and opening up more channels for education and research exchanges. And of course, let's work together and move forward to revitalize and reconnect in a post-COVID world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Minister Liu. I think the capacity building for the past is always the backbone of nation development. We appreciate your endeavor. Thank you very much. Last but definitely not the least, I would like to invite the Deputy Minister of Ministry of Interior, Mr. Chung-Yen, to present your presentation. Go ahead, please.
谢谢田次长跟萧董事长。今天我就用中文来跟大家做说明哈。那回顾3年来，其实在全球疫情的这个架构之下，我相信这个全球都面对一样的这个困难。但是在台湾，为什么在防疫的过程可以在全球成为这个大家互相可以学习的一个国家？那台湾又是一个岛国，又紧邻的中国。那在2020年的时候，当全球预测台湾会成为中国以外最严重的一个国家，但是我们却可以将它守住。那这个有一个很关键的几个因素哈。那最重要的是台湾作为这个整个政府的架构跟国家这个基础的结构是非常的扎实。那国家台湾的结构扎实，可以从几个面向来看。政府组织跟政府组织可以细致到这个我们在政府行政组织的村里面去，所以这样的一个架构完整。那基础的资料完备，那这些基础先把它架构好之后，我们透过科学化的分析，那在防疫的过程里面去重重来架构出来。那我可以从这张图来看，其实我们有几个重要的关键。第一个是经验传承跟通报体系的建立，第二个是边境基石的管制，然后社区的智慧防疫，资讯的有效分配。那最后一项是最重要的，是民众的信任与高度的配合。 所以台湾的防疫可以成为一个有效的处理。但从这以外呢，其实我们对于这个在台湾生活的，无论是国人还是其他国籍的任何人士，我们都要给予充分的照顾。那我们看到我们在台湾有一定的这个结构哈。好，那我们在开始的时候怎么去照顾在台湾所有的人？那我们考虑到在这个疫情的过程中，必须减少全球的移动，这个移动要减少。那我们在做这个相关的管制措施的时候，那就要照顾减少移动之后所带来的其他的问题。第一个，我们主动将外籍人士，如果原来做停留的，那我们给予主动延长，让他不必要担心必须要再去做移动，所以我们进行了自动延长停居留的机制。那再来呢，在整个相关的防疫的过程中，那我们对于资讯的传达很重要，因为我们及时在所有指挥中心里面的资讯，我们都同步将其他7国的语言做字幕，来做让这个完整的资讯透过多国语言传递给所有人来资讯来知道。那这样的方法也同时透过各个社群媒体有效的去传递出去。那最重要的呢无论是国人也好，无论是外籍人士也好，也无论外籍人士是合法居留或已经超过合法居留的期间，那我们都要给予必要的防护。所以当台湾在2021年疫情产生爆发之后，如何透过方法寻找在台湾非法居留的人士，那也请他配合采检，找出传染源或是找出确诊者。那我们透过跟我们的移民署同仁呢，就跟社区的防疫体系像是药局像是这个工作聚集的场域里面来充分合作，那劝导非法居留的人士让他来做采检，那不给予任何的处罚这样子的话，他可以安心的参与这个采检。那疫苗接种的部分也一样，透过疫苗接种，我们在国人也好，居留的人士施打完之后，我们也同时启动非法居留人士希望他能安心的来施打疫苗。那我们一样是给予不通报不处分的方式，让他可以确实在我们的整体的措施里面得到安心注射的部分。那另外呢，我们对新住民的朋友们，因为这样子疫情的发展2年多来多少都会产生生活上或经济上的一个改变。那这个改变之后，我们就给予新住民朋友在整个生活上的一个照顾。那我们透过基金的方式让在这个家庭如果在生活经济的环境有所改变的时候，我们同时给予一些照顾的一个措施，那接续辅导他做一些照顾的方法。那最后呢，我要提到一个是我们同时在疫情前，那也同时在疫情的中间透过跨部会的合作，那也思考我们在外籍工作者在台湾是不是应该要给予专业化，那让他可以更长久的停留。所以我们提出了这个外籍工作者的留才久用的方案，就是可以让他持续让他所累积出来的工作经验可以专注在他的职场领域里面。所以这个是我们在整个这个疫情之前、疫情的中间跟疫情之后逐渐去改变的一些工作政策那透过这些的量能其实也是同时让我们在台湾在疫情的过程中无论是国人还是新住民，我们都一同的给予照顾。谢谢。
Thank you. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister Chen. Well, this section 1 is about to end. I think we have covered of various issues from economic development, agriculture, medical, education, and the national policy, as well as we have friends coming from India, Malaysia, and we have online friends from the Philippines. And I was given instruction just now. He says, because my timing management is so good, so unfortunately, there will be no time for question and answer. However, during today, anytime, if you have any question you would like to ask any panelist, please, you can drop us a line. We can assure you we will definitely respond. Once again, thank you, and thank the friends online. And I would like to invite all the panelists, please stay on the stage. We are going to take a group picture. Once again, thank you all. Thank you.
Please give it up to the moderator and panelists for the wonderful discussion. Please rise and move to the center of the stage. You can remove your face mask and please look at the camera. Let's have a photo call. 好，我们有请台上的贵宾可以稍微靠近一点，您可以摘下口罩，麻烦请看向前方的相机，谢谢。So once again, we would like to thank our moderator and the panelists for the wonderful discussion. As mentioned by Deputy Foreign Minister, he just mentioned that if you would like to have further discussions, give us your thumbs up. Thank you. 帮我们伸出大拇指，比个赞。So throughout the day, if you would like to have more exchanges, feel free to come forward. Thank you very much. 好，我们再次掌声，谢谢我们台上的贵宾。Once again, a round of applause to our distinguished guests. Thank you. Please return to your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we would like to break for lunch. Please bring your personal belongings with you. The forum will start at 10 past 2 in the afternoon, and please come back on time. Our VIP guests, please follow our staff to the 9th floor for the luncheon. Thank you, and we'll see you in the afternoon. 谢谢。